I probably should have done more research, but we're gonna go with it. Oh, no, it's collapsing. It's too big. I am so close to being done. Woo. Hello, my name is Shay. I like to make things, and welcome back to this week's video, Halloween edition. It's currently the beginning of October and officially spooky season, so you know what that means. It's costume time. I love making big Halloween costumes. I've done like a whole body transformation with Jessica Rabbit. I made Corella's trash dress. I made Katniss's dress. So I tossed a poll out my Instagram story just to see what people suggested. And so many people suggested Lottie from Princess and the Frog, which I cannot believe I didn't think of it earlier. She's just like the epitome like of a pink poopy princess, and that is entirely my vibe. However, her dress is big, like really big. Because I want you to take a look at this frame and see her height compared to the width of the dress. That dress is over like 6 feet wide. So that brings us to this project. I'm going to try to recreate Lottie's dress from The Princess and the Frog, but make it as comically large as I realistically can. Let's make it. First things first, we need a plan. I gotta break this costume down. Oh, is it gonna make me watch ads? There she is. Her dress is literally just a cupcake. In most dresses, you'll have like a nice little A-line shape or like a little slope. Lottie's is full rectangle. She goes wide and down. It's a very basic ball gown, sweetheart neckline, big poofy sleeves, a bit of a drop waist, and of course, like her big little hairdo. Honestly, the basic shape of her dress is not hard. The real problem, we know this, is making that skirt huge. Here is the basics of how you get poof. So skirts, even big ball gowns, will be super flat and not poofy if there's nothing underneath. For a little bit of poof, you'll usually put like a petticoat under, but if you really want like ball gown poof, you typically will go with a hoop skirt, which is this flexible skirt made of wire hoops that not only creates this really big shape, but it also makes it easier to walk in because you don't have as much fabric around your legs. And so you might be thinking, well, we can just make a really big hoop skirt. Keep making it bigger, we keep getting a bigger dress. And you're right, to a point. The biggest one I probably did was in 2020, I made a social distancing dress with a 12-foot diameter. I tried to make a 12-foot hoop skirt, and legitimately at a point, if those circles are too big, the wire hoops cannot sustain the weight of the fabric, or honestly even the weight of the hoop skirt, without deforming. So realistically, I would say the biggest hoop skirt you can get without it falling apart is those big quinceañera dress hoop skirts. That might be the biggest hoop skirt we can get, but we can still make it bigger. And that is where we come to the technique of layering. Remember how I said earlier that if you add more petticoats, you can get more poof? Well, you can also add petticoats on top of hoop skirts. So hear me out. I think the way that I can get maximum poof for this dress is to get the biggest hoop skirt I can find, and then make like 3 to 5 layers of petticoats on top of that to give it like whoop, even more poof. And through my calculations, that should give us this, Lottie's dress. It's gonna be a lot of poof. So first layer is hoop skirt. So I'm starting by searching the internet for the biggest quinceañera hoop skirt that I can find. And I literally found the perfect petticoat, but it's like $130. I'm trying to like not spend like $700 on this Halloween costume. And I can't find one that I like or that's big enough. So I think we are just going to make one. And first step to making a hoop skirt is getting the supplies for one. As you start to watch my channel, you'll realize all costumes are built on the bones of other costumes. I like to salvage supplies and recycle. So I'm actually gonna take out my old social distancing dress from 2020. This is one of those dresses that isn't super practical and I don't see myself wearing it again. I genuinely have not touched it since 2020, except to steal fabric from it. So it's sacrificed for parts. I basically just cut out all the hooping wire of this dress, and I was able to salvage a lot of hooping wire to make my own hoop skirt with. Reduce, reuse, recycle. I have now a whole bunch of hooping wire and a ton of ruffles, so I can make a petticoat. This pink isn't really the right color for Lottie's dress. It's a little more berry than hers is. So on that note, I need to grab some actual fabrics for Lottie's dress, so you know where we're headed. We're going to the fashion district. So for the main dress, I think I'm gonna use a satin, because I feel like bridal satin like that just gives princess. Yeah, this is perfect. I think this is the one. I think I got everything, so we're heading back home. And we're back from the fashion district with our haul. Now, let me show you what I got. The first big one is about 10 yards of this dull satin. This is gonna be the pink of her dress. I got some reddish satin for her sash, a bunch of different organzas, and some pink chiffon for her petticoat too. And since I'm going to be modifying this hoop skirt quite a bit, I got some twill tape and some boning channels. Now that everything's deconstructed and I've got all my materials, we can finally start on the first actual sewing part, making the hoop skirt. When I can, I always like to start with the base. So this is my current largest petticoat. It's the petticoat that I use for Belle, for Sophia, any of my biggest dresses. That is pretty big. So what I really need is to make this shape more cupcake. Honestly, changing the whole shape of the hoop skirt might be more than I can just modify, so I'm just gonna try making it from scratch. Hoop skirts are made in a very technical way. There are circles, there's a lot of math and shapes to it. You might have guessed we're not doing that. We're going the ye-olde version of guess and check. It's a little crazy, and I don't know how to make hoop skirts, but this is my basic plan. I think I'm gonna deconstruct this hoop skirt. Basically just take all the hoops out of it, so that way I can put it back together without its big casing and actually adjust the lengths and the sizes of the hoops. And add some of that extra hooping wire to make it even bigger. This circumference right here is 250 inches. The biggest hoop skirt I could find online was 240 inches circumference. So this one is just a bit bigger, and it's gonna be even bigger with all the petticoats, but hopefully it'll still be wearable and won't collapse on itself. So step one of making this hoop skirt, twill tape. We're gonna cut lengths of twill tape and then use those lengths of twill tape to string up my hoops and start to shape out my hoop skirt. This is only hoop 3, and she's already pretty big. She's already got a bit of warping though, which is not great, but I have hope. Because I kind of went in with no plan, it was a little bit of a mess at first. I struggled a lot with the hoops collapsing on themselves. I probably should have done a lot more math going into this, but it's working. It's shaped like Lottie. So I'm just gonna keep finagling and hope it works. Okay, let me try it on. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, that is perfect. We've got a petticoat. Now that I've got the base, I've just gotta make it fluffy. And as a side note, look at how cute these pants are. And they're from the sponsor of this video, ThredUp. If you've been on this channel before, you've probably heard of ThredUp, but in case you haven't, ThredUp is basically just an online thrift store. And I love it because you can get really nice, high quality clothing at affordable prices. Like these pants that I'm wearing. They were only about $12 on ThredUp. And on top of the prices, it's shopping secondhand. That means it's more environmental, you're keeping clothes out of landfills, and it's just a better option. And I'm speaking with full honesty here, ThredUp is my favorite place to get fall clothes. You may have noticed from previous ThredUp hauls, I love coats and cardigans in the fall, and wool coats, especially nice ones, are expensive. But on ThredUp, I found this Michael Kors black coat, which usually retails for like $348 for $28. And it's so freaking cute. It literally makes every fall outfit chic and fashionable, and just, I love it. I also got this Topshop wool coat. It retails for about $95. I paid $15.60, and it's just the cutest little cape coat. I'm telling you, in fall, my secret to a cute outfit is literally just a cute coat or cardigan. If not coats, my next favorite thing to wear in fall is sweaters or cardigans. So I picked out a couple of those from ThredUp too. This White Truth turtleneck sweater retails for about $51. I got it for about $11 on ThredUp. I love that I can kind of fall up some of my summer skirts by just adding a sweater. And lastly, now that it's colder, I like to wear a lot of these fitted long sleeve shirts because you can layer really well with them. And on ThredUp, I got each of these long sleeves for about $5. Aside from the great prices and the environmental aspect, I think one of the best parts of ThredUp is just how easy it is to search and find what you want. Literally, I just type black wool coat and bam, a ton of options at affordable prices. You don't have to sift through a bunch of racks thrifting or go to multiple stores. It's all just with one search. And if you have no idea at all what to search for or what you're even looking for, you can use the style chat and literally just type in a prompt like dark academia, and it will point you to a whole bunch of stuff that fits that aesthetic. So if you want to try changing up or elevating your wardrobe in a sustainable and affordable way, try ThredUp. You can shop some of my favorited pieces with my link below, and if you use code SHAY, you'll get 45% off your first order and free shipping, so pretty solid deal. Again, thank you so much to ThredUp for not only being a service that I genuinely enjoy and use, but for sponsoring this video and making projects like this possible. But with all that said, we've got a petticoat to make. Let's get back to sewing. We have finished challenge 1, the hoop skirt. Now it is on to step 2, the petticoats. And the good news is petticoats are really easy to make. I'm just making my petticoats big circle skirts, which literally means I'm cutting a circle out of fabric, and that's my skirt. Once I have my petticoat circle skirt base, then I can start adding my ruffles on top of it to kind of build out that shape.
For this petticoat, I'm using all the tulle ruffles I salvaged from my social distancing dress, both to save time and also to reuse the fabric.
No, it's collapsing! It's too big! I think I have to add more hoops. Oh. Okay, that actually worked a lot better. I added one more hoop. I probably should have done more research, but we're gonna go with it. Whew. Skirt, take 2. Okay, obviously I still need a lot of touch-ups. But that is looking a lot more Lottie-like. I was thinking of doing 2 layers of petticoat, but like, this is already huge, so maybe I just do 1. So now that I have the basic idea, I get to go and just attach all the ruffles to the base petticoat. First with sewing, and then not gonna lie, there may have been some hot glue involved, but it's a Halloween costume. It's not supposed to be couture. The skirt is all attached. I can try it on now. I genuinely think this cannot support the weight of any more petticoats aside from this one. So I'm just gonna only do 1 petticoat. And now I'm gonna make the overskirt. Overskirt is honestly really simple. Another big circle skirt. So I'm gonna do the same thing, just lay my fabric down and cut a big circle out of the fabric. Now we can finally put on the overskirt. Obviously it's collapsing. I need to add more hoops and adjust it. But you can start to see the vision. Okay, I add an extra hoop or so to it, and it is way more stable now. I definitely should have looked up more about hoop skirt making before I started this, but it works. So let's try it on with the rest of the skirts. Okay, that's perfect. Yes! That is a cupcake! That's pretty much her dress though.
The last part of her skirt is just to add her little tulle overlay, which is also just a circle skirt. So I'm just cutting 2 circles out of fabric, gathering them a little asymmetrically so it's shorter in the front. But that's all there really is to this little overlay.
The nice thing about big ball gowns like this is the dresses really aren't that hard once you got the understructure and everything. We've officially finished the hardest and biggest part of the dress, which is the absolutely ginormous skirt. All that's left is just the top and the finishing touches. The top is honestly pretty much like any other princess dress I've made. So I'm just making my own pattern by draping it on my dress form. And that is our pattern. Now I'm just gonna cut it out of the real fabric. Everything is cut. Now we sew. And that is Lottie's top. I have made so many of these at this point. I think we finally got it down. I am so close to being done! Now that I'm happy with the shape and kind of this outer layer, I just need to make an inner layer for structure and to keep it stiff. I'm making a lining layer out of twill fabric that I can add boning into. For this, I'm not even gonna use real boning. I'm just using heavy duty zip ties because they're cheap and you can get them at the hardware store and they work pretty well, and this is how it looks. It has so much more structure and it's lovely. Now that I have both sewn, I get to take this and I give you
a princess.
Ta-da! I like it. I feel very cute and very princessy in it.
I added some grommets to create a lace back closure, and that was it for the base.
For the puff sleeves, I'm keeping it simple. I'm just cutting out a rectangular strip of fabric, gathering it together, and then we have a beautiful puff. Look at that puff sleeve. Perfect. For the collar, I just cut out a collar-like shape, completely guessing on it. I sewed some wire in, and now look at that. It's perfect. We have all our separate pieces now. Now we just put them together.
Okay, the skirt's done, the bodice is done. The very, very last thing I have to make is her sash. Lottie has this dark pink sash and bow across her waist. So I just made a quick bow, and honestly, the sash is just a tube of fabric, so truly nothing fancy.
So I finally finished all the pieces of the dress. Now we can put the whole look together. Okay, she's really cute. I didn't think she'd come out this good. Ta-da! Now that she's all done, I just get to wear her now. Aside from a big dress, the other thing about making a big Lottie cosplay is her hair. She has this huge beehive hair that I just did not have it in me to make. However, my friend Winter is a very talented wig stylist, and she whipped up this absolutely huge and beautiful Lottie wig for me. It is so clean and so big and is gonna absolutely make this look. But with the dress, the wig, and everything done, all I had to do was get glammed up, get into costume, get into my wig, and get ready to be Lottie.
So without further ado, here is my Lottie Halloween costume. And that is my final Lottie dress. I'm really proud of it. I really should have looked up how to make a hoop skirt before I kind of just jumped into it. Even adding the extra hoops, it was still collapsing under the weight of the dress. And I still don't think I made it right. Bernadette Banner, look away. All the historical girlies, look away. I'll make it right next time. But I am really proud of it. It's big, it's floofy, it is just absolutely massive, and it has that whole big fluffy look that she has. But that's all for this video. Lottie is actually not gonna be my only Halloween look this year. I have one more Halloween thing coming out, so stay tuned for that. And again, a huge thank you to ThredUp for sponsoring this video. You can use my code SHAY for 45% off and free shipping on your first order. But that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next video. Bye bye.